Welcome back to Old Fart Engineering. So today I'm going to share something a little unusual with you guys. I don't normally show my prototyping process, but I decided to go ahead and film this because this is going to have applications to many future builds that we're going to be doing on this channel. This is actually going to be a model of a fly press, which I will be building a large version of. But I want to use the smaller version as a way to kind of work out any complications or design flaws or any efficiency problems I might run into in the build. Now, this is made mostly out of scraps, so it's a cheap way to do it before I build my large version. It is built out of a cut-off piece of I-beam, and none of it's welded together yet. I'm kind of just positioning things right now. I'm planning on welding this little brace in the back here just to have an anchor point for it. The larger one probably wouldn't have something like that, but this is going to be a small press, which would actually be ideal for jewelry making or just really small little forging projects or little bending. And we'll build a bunch of jigs for this and little doming dies and things like that. But I'm not going to talk a lot about it during the video. I'm just going to kind of show you my process. And the reason I don't normally film this process is because this is where I allow myself to fail freely. Because I've noticed that by not worrying about what I'm doing and just working at it and working through it, failing, cutting things off, changing things, is really the way I come up with some of my best ideas. So I started hacking this apart out of pieces of steel, out of scrap yesterday, and it dawned on me that this is really a process that I should share. Even though it's where I make my mistakes, I think it's an important process for people to understand and for people to see that, you know, these refined finished tools and machines that I might build start out basically with little scraps, odds and ends, playing around, trying to get a concept together and then working through that concept to something that actually functions, or, as often does happen, ends up on the scrap pile itself because I had high ideals and it just didn't work out. But anyhow, I'm going to share this one with you. Hopefully by the time we're done, it will be a usable piece and will be the model then for the two larger ones. I'm going to build a mid-size and a very large one for doing larger forging projects. And the fly presses have just been something that have always interested me. And unfortunately, where I live down here in South Florida, to find a used fly press to play with is almost impossible. I would have to bring it in either from somewhere in the northern US or even from overseas in England where they're very common. But anyhow, join me for this little experiment and hopefully, you know, we all learn something in the process and have a little fun building something. All right, that's it for the talking. This is just going to be showing. So as you can see, I've already painted everything. For the most part, I think it all came out very well. We're going to go ahead and assemble it now. Off camera, I made some little gibs that mount to the back here to retain this piece. You'll see how that goes together. But other than that, you know, I've shown pretty much everything I've done. We're going to put it together, and in an upcoming video, then we will be making the tooling for this. But let's go ahead and start by greasing it up a little bit. And I'm going to stop talking now, and you can watch the assembly. Well, and there we have it. The prototype of the fly press. Obviously, like I said earlier, this is a smaller version. I did already notice one problem, and that's because what I did was I just turned the center into the screw for my set point. I'm actually going to go ahead and weld on a piece on the larger one so we don't have that little bumping that's going on as this thing's going down. That way it'll be smoother. But that's because it's skipping on the thread. In an upcoming video, we're going to go ahead and make some tooling for this. It's got a 1-inch hole down here to receive tooling. So we'll design and build a couple little pieces of tooling for this, maybe a little bender, a little doming set. But that's going to come up in a future video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, like, comment, and thank you again for joining me on Old Fart Engineering.